What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and it's your favorite segment, my favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment, where we take a look at the financial data for DSP gaming. That's right, folks. You know, every week we take a look at the tips, the super chats, the views, and we get a general sense of how Phil is doing during the work week and ensuring that the liquidity is on point for DSP gaming. Now, before I do that, I want to give a big shout out to Darksea to Phil, the number one detractor when it comes to art. That's right, he did me a beautiful layout here. It's kind of a Skyrim style, an homage to the Skyrim game. Of course, we all know that Kat and Phil love Skyrim, so right here we have our boy Duty, Dragon Style Duty overwatching Pig Roach, and of course Fat Cat sitting there playing Skyrim, of course. And it has some lovely details here if you could take a look at it. We got Corner Demon Derek in the back, we got Subaru Blimp up there, we even got a nice constellation of Pig Roach, the Pig Roach constellation, and of course we have the Argentinian detractors sailing in ready to attack. So big ups, appreciate the artwork. And yeah, it's just chef's kiss. Now let's move on to what you guys came here for. I just wanted to give a nice shout out to our boy Darksea. So here are the figures. So let's get into it, folks. All right, so first of all, our boy Phil got a new whale. Now, a lot of people don't know if the whale is legit or whether it's a LARPer or whether they're going to be doing chargebacks. We don't know yet. We don't know. And of course, Phil has been extra paranoid the last week and a half about the detractors laying a trap for our boy Phil, where they're tipping him, and you know, he gets comfortable, and he's all excited. He's pulling them Hogans, and he thinks everything is great. He thinks DSP gaming is back up. That's right. But a lot of times, what ends up happening is it's not the case, and our boy Phil panics and gets completely screwed. So very similar to the Argentinian detractors back in January, when Phil thought he had thousands and thousands of memberships, and lo and behold, he got nothing. So anyway, we'll pin that for now. Let's see how that turns out. But yes, it looks like our boy Phil has a new whale in the name of Waffles. That's right, I'm calling him Waffles. I don't want to see anyone typing in the comment section it's Waffins. I don't care. Your boy Duty calls him Waffles, okay? And that that actually is fitting because my thumbnail is going to be related to Waffles somehow. So anyway, there you go. So let's look at the numbers, folks. It looks like our boy Phil did okay. He did better than normal, but I mean, the interesting thing is, even here with the new whale, he still kind of made what he made the previous week. So we'll get into that right now. So in the tips department for the work week, our boy Phil managed to pull in $1,173 compared to $975 from the previous week. So that's a bump of $200. So big ups, and of course, all mainly due to Waffles. So big ups, Waffles, if you are legit, or if you're an OIC sock, or just a LARPer ready to charge back on our boy Phil. Either way, the fun is always there for us to have. So in super chats now, this is where our boy Phil struggles. Again, this has been a pattern for 2 years, and there's no breaking it. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's conditioned the dents to super chat. Excuse me. Maybe he's conditioned the dents to tip, that they no longer super chat, and the only people that super chat are the cheapos that give $1 or $2. You know, your Swaggy Davis Juniors and those other idiots that come in and drop $1 or $2 just to say something on stream so that Phil can acknowledge them. But either way, he only made $290 compared to $431 from the previous week. And last week he did okay, but every other week prior to that, it's just been abysmal for our boy Phil. And when we look at the yearly totals, you're going to see how that impacts him, especially year over year. So for the grand total for the work week, Phil managed to make $1,463 compared to $1,406 for an increase of about $57. Man, all that begging, you would have thought that he would have made more than this. And then all the wailing out by Waffles, you would have thought he made more. But, you know, if you take a little bit a closer dive, he kind of had one good day, which was the 11th. And then everything else was a little bit above average. So again, the super chats were just killed him. And again, the funny thing is, like I always say, is the dents are just stealing from Peter to pay Paul. His tips increased by $200, but his super chats decreased by $200. So he's not really making much headway. And let's not forget, of course, WWE champions. The WWE champions tax was over $2,000 this week. So by the way I look at it, Phil is actually about in the hole for about $700, which it's kind of telling. If you look at his videos, especially last night when he spent 10 minutes going on about Waffles and wanting to get assurance that he was legit, you could just see the paranoia in him because he knows he's spending that money. Last night when he got off stream, he took that whatever how much money he made, $150 and the $50 on the first stream, and he cashed that shit out. And he does that every night. He cashes his PayPal account every fucking night. That's why he's always in the negative. Or he has a zero balance. So when chargebacks hit, he's in the negative balance. He'll be fucking screwed if one day PayPal gets tired of that shit, or PayPal says no, you can't be in a negative balance, or we're gonna charge you. That's another thing that PayPal, I can envision PayPal doing. It's very similar to your bank. When you in the negative balance in your bank account, most banks they'll give you up to 6 transactions where they transfer funds from one account to another to kind of cover an overdraft. But after that, they start hitting you with $10 every time you overdraft. Is $10. I can see PayPal doing that. I can see PayPal charging Phil a penalty, and he won't care because he figures, oh well, it's the dent's money and they'll fucking pay for it anyway. So, but of course that'll be more revenue that he won't have for WWE champions. So again, yeah, Phil may have believed that he had a great week, but it's average. It's average for our boy Phil. And he seems to be just spinning his wheels. He's not getting any traction. The one thing that I'll give him is that May was a slow stream month. There really wasn't much going on, and he still managed to kind of stay above water, even with the thousands of dollars he spent on WWE Champion. So yeah, that's the total. So for the monthly total so far, Phil has pulled in $3,079. And he has about a week and a half to go, so he'll probably get about 5K. And again, these are super chats and tips. And don't forget, folks, these are gross numbers. I don't account for the PayPal fees or taxes because those are just the cost of doing business. Like I say every week, when people ask you how much you make, you give them the gross salary. You don't give them a net salary. You say you make $60K or $70,000 because everyone has to pay taxes. Everyone has to pay penalties and fees. Phil's not absolved from this. So when he tried to make it seem like, oh yeah, I may have made $100,000, but don't forget I have to pay taxes and I have to pay fees. Yeah, Phil, so does everyone else. Alrighty, so yeah, so now let us so for the monthly numbers, we don't have that information. We saw that Phil did have a bump in April. That's going to drop down again. I mean, I looked at the initial numbers. It's definitely going to be less than 600,000. So he got that 1 month increase, but it'll die down. It'll die down significantly in May. But of course, at the end of the month, we'll get those numbers and report that out. So now, folks, let's look at the grand totals. So the grand totals for 2024 so far, Phil's managed to make $19,387 compared to last year for the same period. He made $21,126. And in tips, he made $6,211 so far this year. And last year, he made $8,389. So again, we're talking about over $2,000 here in money that Phil doesn't have. That's not helping his monthly YouTube check. So if we're 4 months in, you're talking about $500 every month he doesn't have to pay for his life expenses. So when you're wondering why he's doing extra begs this year, why he seems to be begging a lot more, that's it. That and memberships. The memberships are all but done. I mean, he has about 250 paying people that do their recurring payments every month, but everyone else has a free Argentinian membership. And speaking of the Argentinian members, I got wind that they're prepping. They're ready to go. They're prepping, and they'll be probably, you'll see them sometime probably next week. So Phil, I know you watch my video. You might want to get your whatever you try to do to stop these things in place. And Phil, we both know that does nothing. It does nothing. If YouTube charges you that amount, those memberships are going out, Phil. You're not seeing it on your screen, but they are going out. So yeah, but if it makes you feel better to think that you're actually doing something by deleting the message, have fun. Anyway, so if we take a look at the compare the totals over year, Phil is negative 13%. Now that increased from 9% last week. So I'm attributing that to Street Fighter last year with Game Cucker, where he was dropping the $100 every day on stream. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like he doesn't have that. So his negative amount is increased. It increased from 9 to 13%. All right. So again, he made 19,000. Oh, sorry. He made he made $25,598 so far for 2023. And if you compare that to 2022, he made $36,906 for a net decrease of negative 31%. Now that number shrunk a little bit. It was previously at what, 34% or something like that. But don't forget, these numbers are going to decrease significantly. Phil never has a good summer. Summers are always pretty dry. And I expect the same thing for this year because there's really no new games coming out. What, the Elden Ring DLC? That's kind of all Phil, what Phil is getting. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty dry. It's gonna be a pretty dry summer for our boy Phil. And let's see how Waffles hangs in there. Let's see if Waffles manages to be a true dent. Maybe he can offset the losses of OneMinuteMan. The one thing I know about Watt is that he's not consistent. He's been dropping big tips, but he doesn't come on stream every day. So, you know, of course, when any new dent who's looking for attention comes on screen or comes on the scene, they drop some cash early, but that dries up really fast. I mean, look at Game Cucker, look at, you know, a bunch of other fucking whales that have come and gone, whales of the past. And if you look at whales in the future, it's always the same story. They get bored, they move on, or you find out that there were LARPers or what have you. So anyway, folks, that's it. Those are the numbers. Hope you guys enjoyed the Skyrim style overlay. Oh, by the way, Pixar Animation is actually working on a new Skyrim style intro, which I'm going to introduce soon. It's fucking fire, y'all. It is fire as all hell. So when I get it, I'll publish it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out.